Hello and welcome to the Justin Hamilton podcast. Today, our returning guest is Dave Anthony, who is touching base with us and discussing all sorts of things that have been going on, things that have been popping around in my head. And, Dave's a great guest who allows me to bounce those ideas and have a different type of insight into what is going on in the Northern Hemisphere. Um, just before we bring Dave in, a big shout out to our sponsors, Wonder Pies. Wonder Pies contacted me a few months ago and asked if they could sponsor this podcast for the rest of the year. And I was wrapped, already a big fan. And, as someone who enjoys vegetarian food and vegan food, they have really good options in that regard. But also for the rest of you, their pies and pasties and all of their product are top notch. So if you are in Victoria, you can go and check out their local cafes. And if you are interstate and would like to order some stuff and get it sent to you, head to wonderpies.com.au and you can order packs of pies, packs of sausage rolls, all sorts of different pastries and have them all ready to go at your home. Uh, while I think of it, a quick reminder that I have a show coming up in Brisbane. Gen X marks the spot. It's my first show up in Brisbane, solo show in Brisbane in a decade. It's going to be appearing at Good Chat. So if you would like to come along to that, please jump in and buy your tickets now. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun to be able to do a show up in Brisbane again. It's been too long. My regular forays into Brisbane were broken up by work and then COVID and then work. So I'm hoping to reopen that market and have a reason to be coming back on a more regular basis. So if you think you might like to come along and you've got some friends who would be interested and please head over to my website, justinhamilton.com.au, and you can find information about the gigs for that and other gigs that are all over Australia. Uh, at my site, you can find links for my Substack and you can find links for Patreon as well. So if you're looking for extra me, justinhamilton.com.au, that is the website where you can find all of that stuff. Okay, I don't want to bang on for too long, and you know what? I'll just let this go at the end. I won't bother coming back. It's always fun to chat to Dave, so we'll just finish with Dave this time. But I hope you enjoy this. I'm loving having Dave as a regular guest. I hope you are too. And let's bring in the brilliant Dave Anthony. I went to the movies recently, Dave, and I've seen two films that I'm curious to know, A, if you've seen, and B, if you know. No, you haven't seen them. You
I
definitely haven't
haven't
seen them.
because I'm preparing for a tour that's starting next week, so I've just been working. But there are movies that I
Ah,
would like to see. There's like three that I want to see. There's not a lot of movies, honestly, that I want to see anymore, but there
right.
are some out there.
What are the movies that you want to see?
I can't remember the names of them. Do you want me to?
Yep.
The
But
one I don't usually enjoy Paul Thomas Anderson films,
right.
but I do want to see his latest, which I haven't been able to see.
It's that was one
What's
of
it
the ones,
called?
one battle after another.
Yeah, that one I want to see. Looking up one battle after another. I want to see, like I said, but no, I can't find them.
I also saw
What's
the new Catherine Bigelow film last night, A House of
yes,
Dynamite.
yeah. How was that?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty great, but
Yeah,
also uh, you don't walk out of it going, "Well, that was a fun experience," which is interesting
yeah.
because um, movies didn't always have to be a fun experience.
No,
The-
they
the-
didn't. What was I watching? I was watching a show. I was watching Black Rabbit. Have you seen Black Rabbit on Netflix?
no, is it good?
Well, I was like, okay, I don't need to just feel bad for 8 episodes because
Right.
it's just one of those things that just progressively gets worse and nothing gets better, and every episode ends on oh no, things are worse, and at some point you're like, okay, I can just go outside for that.
Yeah.
Like I don't need.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I get it. Like and that's why I try to do light-hearted episodes in there with the dollop because it's like, yeah, I don't need to. I don't need to research that. Like nobody needs to. Maybe back in the day when I think when everything was like not as palpably horrible, you could go
Right.
watch a dark movie and be like, "Oh God, I just don't feel good," but that's okay
Yeah. Yeah. It was
because it'll
a
go
safe space.
away.
Well, it was a safe space to experience those feelings, wasn't it? Because then
Yeah, yeah,
you're in a cinema with people
yeah,
thinking, "Wow, that's terrible," and then you
yeah.
walk outside and it's sunlight, and you get a gelato and you discuss it, and then everything's
And then you
fine.
go about your day. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A House of Dynamite is kind of told in a nesting dolls format where you see the story begin with at one point and then it chops to another perspective. So it kind of goes a little bit further back and then continues. And
Uh-huh.
then the third part goes a little bit further back again and continues until all the points
Yeah.
converge. And
Okay.
it's an
That
interesting
sounds
way to
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The thing that is, um, it's quite clearly a fictitious America because it is not a Donald Trump type of president. But what is interesting is this thing that everyone has trained for, people not being certain how to deal with it. That's what
Right.
makes you,
Yeah. Right.
that feels correct.
Yeah. 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 That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's
Um,
kind of well, you kind of see this now where you're like, aren't there a whole lot of protocols in place to stop these terrible things from happening? And it's like, well, yeah, kind of, but we don't really know what we're doing with them, and
well,
it's kind of
they're all like handshake agreements. Like there's no, because if nobody's actually going to do anything, then it's
right.
just agreed upon stuff. And then if someone doesn't want to do the agreed upon stuff, then you're like, oh, like if you have a house and the kids are behaving badly, the mom and dad can crack down. But if the mom and dad are behaving badly, then you're like,
Uh,
okay,
yeah,
now what do we do?
yeah, yeah. It's not. Is it my place to tell these kids off?
Yeah, does the kid have to shoot the dad, which happens sometimes?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, you know,
I always hold judgment until I read the rest of the story before I take any
that's
moral
right.
stance.
That's right.
oh,
Absolutely.
oh no, that dad was a piece of shit. Good work.
Yeah.
But but it was interesting to be sitting in a cinema that, and it makes without giving anything away, it makes some specific choices in its storytelling that I think are uh, really interesting and definitive decisions, not being wishy-washy of, hey, I'm not sure
Hmm.
what to do. She makes a choice and then she follows it through.
Hmm.
And it was interesting when the lights came out because I can't really remember the last time that I saw a film that wasn't afraid to be real and not hold your hand
Yeah,
and
sure.
a lot of nervous laughter around me. Oh,
Hmm.
oh, geez, that was bleak. as they as they walk out of the cinema. Um, that comes out. That's a Netflix film, but it's got a
Oh,
small
is it?
cinema
Is
release.
it
So
at the same time or
I
cinema
think it
first?
comes out at the cinema first, and then I think it'll
Hmm.
be on Netflix in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for the people like me who don't really go to the movies anymore, because it'll be on my giant screen soon. So in my living room,
I
and I
know.
have surround sound, and yeah, I'm one
Yeah,
of those people. I just don't
I
go. I just
know.
don't really go anymore.
Yeah. It's there's a few of us keeping it alive. It seems like
I know. Yeah.
the big cinema format is the IMAX in all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's going to go the way of vinyl. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah.
yeah. So the interesting thing about, and once again, I won't give anything away, but with One Battle After Another is that I saw it early, and all of the reviews were, "This is the best movie in the last decade," and I'm always a little bit like,
Hmm.
"Hey, why don't you calm down?" It's
Yeah.
like I understand recency bias. Like, of course, you walk out of the cinema and you've
Right.
just experienced it, and you're believing all the endorphins that are flushing through your system that
Hmm.
this is perfect. And then I started seeing, of course, there's the pushback against the people raving,
Sure.
and then
Gotta have
so that
pushback.
you got to have pushback. Heaven forbid. But it was interesting. The thing that I have found interesting is twofold. One is some people aren't happy with how African American women are portrayed in the film,
Hmm.
specifically one particular character, and I think there's an interesting argument of, well, he's a middle-aged white man writing these characters,
Yeah.
and therefore, uh, maybe he shouldn't. I think that's the criticism in some places. In other places, they're just sort of saying that he doesn't understand that one of the characters in particular is quite flawed, and so he shouldn't be showing her as such a flawed character when representation isn't broad enough to allow for that kind of depth of character, which I find pretty
Yeah.
fascinating because there's a part of me that's like, well, isn't that equality that
I,
everyone can be flawed, and but it's an interesting
yeah.
argument.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so for obviously for a long time there weren't black people in films and movies, and then you got them, and then you got stereotypes, right?
Right.
And then that started to expand, and you got your Cosby shows and your other things out there, and now there's black filmmakers, and
Yeah.
they can make their films, and everyone's kind of represented at this point. I don't know. You don't need to police this. I don't like. There's some things I think to be upset about, but I'm watching stormtroopers drop into apartment buildings and raid black apartments and just take people away. So I'm not really concerned about the portrayal of a person in a movie at this point. Like
Yeah, true.
maybe step back and look at a bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it sometimes becomes the argument that you can have some sort of a feeling of control over while everything else is
Sure.
falling apart.
Yeah, absolutely. That's got to be a huge part of it. Like, this is something I can yell at and feel comfortable yelling at and getting mad at. And it's like, yeah, all right, have at it. Like,
Yeah.
it's also like because I think that everyone has carved out their own little area in show business now, and I don't really feel like anyone is having a problem being represented in show business at this
Right.
point. It really feels like everyone's kind of getting stuff made. It's just like, okay, so a white dude gets to make a movie, and maybe not every character is perfect. Like, just like if I watch a film from any other person, they're not going to get the exact thing perfect. And like, it's just going to happen now. Like, no one's going to nail it.
Yeah.
Everything you want in a film isn't going to be what you want. Like, it's just not how it's going to work. It's
Yeah.
fucking art, man. The artist gets to make it the way he wants. I get you, like you can get mad and just go, I did. The thing to do is just go, yeah, I didn't like that one character, instead of like, well, you know what he should have done is
Yeah.
brought in
Yeah.
a writer to do. You're just like, shut up. Just like, you
Yeah.
didn't you didn't you didn't dig it. That one you didn't
Yeah.
like. That's art. That's it. Move
Yeah.
on.
It's there's something very interesting about the argument of appropriation as well, because on the one hand, appropriation is taking another culture's art form and putting it through the prism of you, but on the other
Yeah.
hand, you have things like the British blues explosion, which if it like the Brits were listening to American black music and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't getting played in America, but the Brits
Mm-hmm.
were playing it, and then they were influenced by it. And then you had like I remember there's this footage of this old '60s music show where Brian Jones and Mick Jagger, I think they introduced Wilson Pickett,
Mm-hmm.
or so someone like that, and they introduce him as being one of their heroes, and then they sit and watch him while he performs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I kind of think that's how. that's how you stop things from being off in a lane. And if you're, as long as you're kind of acknowledging where your influences come
Sure.
from.
As long as you acknowledge it, as long as you like, I think you kind of have to like boost the people up a little bit. Like the Stones would come over here and they do little secret blues clubs and they'd have blues
Yeah,
guys come on. And so like, there's different ways to do it. As long as everyone's chipping away at it all the time,
yeah,
great. If you're
yeah,
not, if you're just stealing the music and acting like it's yours, then no, that's terrible.
yeah.
But
That's the
yeah,
difference.
I don't know. You know, it's definitely like we just live in a world now where, and that's fine. Everyone have a complaint and an argument, but it's also I'm just like okay, like all right.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's like, all right,
All right.
I'll keep
It's
going.
I've always had this weird thing about art where it's like if it makes you think, it's art, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
how I view art. If it makes you think, it's art. Like the thing where a guy would put up a blank canvas and he'd get what $1 million or some shit, and
Yeah,
then everyone's talking about it, and then everyone's talking about what is art, and I was like, okay, so that's art,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's total bullshit. He got away with an amazing thing, but it's fucking art because everyone's talking about it. So if people are talking about it, great, you made art.
yeah,
It's just this weird thing that then people want to go in and go, you know what, you should change. And it's like,
yeah,
imagine saying that to Picasso. Like you look at his paintings and you're like, you know what, this eye over here, it's
yeah,
just weird.
yeah,
So it's just like, yeah, that's the piece, man. Yeah, that's what the piece of art is. Like, deal with it.
yeah. If anything, you should be looking at Picasso's art and going, "This is fantastic. You are a genius." By the way, your attitude towards women is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. And and like David Simon, who I loathe as a like political human being, he's just this awful guy. But he made The Wire, and I love The
Right,
Wire.
right.
And The Wire, I think, like sort of made a lot of like whites who weren't that who never go into the city or whatever, like sort of understand what's going on a little bit.
Yeah,
And so for that, it's a very good thing. But then a modern look at it through the prism of African Americans is like they take it apart pretty well, and they actually say no, it did maybe did some more damage than, and their arguments are very good,
right.
and but I see both sides, and I'm like, yeah, but it was still a great show and a great piece of art.
Yeah,
Now maybe we can view it differently, but that's what it's supposed to be. Like you're supposed to have further conversations about it.
yeah,
It's just the thing where people want to go in and go, you should have done this differently. And it's just like, well, I didn't.
yeah. That's what it
What?
is. Well,
What?
perfection is the enemy of getting anything made, really, isn't it?
It really is.
And also
I
trying
mean,
to make as many people.
how many shows would you not have put up if you knew it had to be perfect?
Oh,
Like
like
we
all of them.
all of our shows, all of our acts, everything we put up, it's not perfect. And we
Yeah.
go back and think about it a while later and go, oh, fuck, you know what?
Oh,
I could have
yeah.
done that. The show's gone
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah.
at that one line or that could have taken a direction.
Yeah.
But that's just how you're seeing something in the fucking moment like this. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We've had
It's just sorry.
no, 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 go.
I was just gonna say it's just so weird to have like so if Paul Thomas Anderson is gonna write a movie who and I will flat out say I'm not a huge fan of Paul Thomas Anderson. His movie drives me insane. But again, I just don't watch them or like I'll be like,
Yeah.
well, I'll
Yeah.
try this one. But I
Yeah.
don't need to be like going into it and tearing it apart and like, savaging it. But it's like so if Paul Thomas Anderson writes a movie as a white guy, is he supposed to if he puts in any other uh ethnicity, is he then supposed to run it through an a filter of other people? That is he supposed
Right.
to go find a black people and an Asian guy and are they the correct
Well,
filter for
also,
that? Do they have
also,
different opinions that might not
well,
jive with others?
yeah. Well, he's married to Maya Rudolph and has
Oh, he
mixed
is.
race
Okay, I didn't
kids.
know that.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
like, are
yeah.
you seriously thinking that she's not reading the script and making suggestions?
Yeah, totally. And every black person has a different experience, and they all argue with each other about different things. Every Native
Yeah.
American, every like Latino, like bring up Latinx to Latino people, and watch the myriad of just completely different reactions to that
Yeah.
that word. It's just like everybody doesn't have the same. opinions. They're not going to write the black character you want. It's just if you're happy with it, someone else might be mad with it. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
it's just very weird. We just want to put our hands in all the stuff that's being made and like this has to be my way. I feel like we
Oh,
don't know how
yeah.
to watch things. Do you feel like we don't know how to watch things anymore?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, it's funny. It's almost like people go in not to get lost in a story, but to look for the flaws.
Yeah, I think you're
And
right. Yeah,
and also, you know, I loved Emma Thomas, who is that was the producer on Oppenheimer. Someone asked her about how Spike Lee said he loved Oppenheimer, but he would have shown the Japanese, being incinerated. And they asked Emma what she thought of that. And Emma's first reaction was, "Oh, we were rapt that Spike Lee watched our movie. We love Spike Lee." And then she just said, um, "Oh, but that's the movie he would have made."
right.
And it's like, yeah, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
movie
that's a
he would
movie
have
he would
made.
have made.
And
Yeah,
we made this movie. And
yeah,
I think that's probably the mature way to handle any
right.
of these kinds of things.
Yeah, I didn't. That wasn't my artistic choice. Right.
Man,
I
man,
I personally, I mean, I actually didn't make it through that movie, but I would have also shown that. But I'm also like a huge lefty. Like that, I'm trying to make a point with that. Like he doesn't need to make that point with it. He made the point he wanted to make.
yeah. Also, the movie is from Oppenheimer's perspective.
Right.
Like it's so
Right.
so the tragedy of what happens is all in Killian Murphy's face. That's called acting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. You could not do that with Mark Wahlberg. If it was a Mark Wahlberg film, you would have to show the people being burnt alive, and then he
You'd
would still have the same face, and it would be confusing.
Yes, yes. Well, in his defense, he's tired because they started filming at 7 and he'd already been up since 2 a.m. praying to God. Mark Wahlberg. Jesus Christ.
I
Jesus
can't believe
Christ.
like the fact that that guy has become one of the biggest producers in Hollywood and they're still putting him in films is just like, dude, just walk away, man. You're not good at this. You're
Yeah.
just it is abhorrent when he is on a screen. It is just like, what are you doing?
I think there is a tiny, tiny target, like about that big right there, that he can fill nicely. I think he's good in Three Kings, but he is playing
I
a,
agree, but
a
that's
guy
kind
who
of him in a
him.
way, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So so if you have him kind of playing him, he's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But uh you mentioned you put out a show and then later on you think, oh, I could have done that better. Man, that is I was going to put together a new show for next year and I kind of realized I've never spent longer than 3 months on 4 months prepping a show. And I thought,
Yeah.
how good, how nice would it be to do it over a year? And so I've decided I'll give it a
Oh,
good
nice.
lead up, mainly because of what you said is that you'd spend 3 to 4 months working on the show, then you'd do all the festivals, and then I'd be in fucking Geraldton on Comedy Festival Roadshow,
Yeah.
and then I'll add one thing in a routine from the show and go, well, that just made it 30 times better. And I hope you appreciate it,
especially in
Geraldton.
especially in like the last 10 or 15 minutes, it does. It just makes a huge difference. You're like, oh, that really wrapped it all together, that little one thing. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think I've never felt that uh 3 or 4 months is long enough to put together an hour. Like I know some people can like Will does it very well. But I always
It,
think like, well, what if Will did it for a year?
yeah. Well, it's just
You
kind of
know?
what the Australian scene created. Have to have a new show. Have to have a new show.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
year. What's new? What's new?
Yeah. And it's
That's the
very
whole approach to Australian entertainment.
yeah, and it does create a lot of it creates a lot of bad shows, but it
Mm,
also creates a lot of crazy interesting shows.
yeah.
You get the Ben Russells doing something nuts.
Yeah.
But it also creates a lot of people you're just like, well, you're really trying here, right? You didn't have a lot to talk about this year, did you? Which is
Yeah. Yeah, you just spent 20 minutes talking about a sandwich. You've really stretched out this show.
I went to a show. I was like, when I was there, I was like, I'm just going to pick a random person and I'm going to go see this person's show. And this young Asian woman, and she was in the town hall in one of those tiny, tiny rooms. And I was like, okay. And I sat down and there were like 8 people there. And I started watching. I watched about 15 minutes and I thought, it's so bad that I think it's unfair for me to see her at this point in her career.
Right. Yeah.
And so I got up and I left. I was like, it's literally unfair. She's not ready to be doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to be seeing her.
Yeah.
And I'm going to form an opinion and I'm never going
Yeah.
to see her again. And so
Yeah.
I just walked out.
Yeah. Right.
And that's
That's
probably, terrible for her. But at the same time, it's like with the long run, it's not. I would hear about your good years later and go, oh, okay, I'll check her out.
yeah. Right. Yeah. You do kind of wonder uh, which people have never come to see you again because they saw you at the wrong time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of people whose opinions are really like if they like it's what we're just talking about. If they see something they don't like in your act, if they see you make a joke about something
Yeah.
and you're when you're young, you're and new, you're exploring, you're pushing, you should be exploring,
Yeah.
pushing boundaries. And so you're going to say some offensive stuff. You're going to say some things that you now probably wouldn't say, and people hold it against them too. And you're like, I remember the booker for Conan for a long time had a rule that if anybody did a homeless joke, she would not book them. And and I was like, yeah, but people are just figuring shit out. Like,
Right.
do you gonna ban everybody forever because they did one joke about a thing that we see on the street all the time in our
Right.
society? And it's just very weird. Like, so if you did that in front of her, you were automatically blacklisted from then on.
Right.
It's very weird. No one knew that. It was just, some of us did, but most people didn't know it.
Right.
So it's just things like that. Like you can really in this in our business, you can really get screwed. And think about how judgmental everybody is online now. And while some of it I think is totally correct, but also like you can change as a person and become a different. I told terrible jokes when I was starting out. This
Oh,
monstrous. I was just looking for laughs and I was pushing boundaries and like I would have been canceled a million times. Or at least
yeah.
cancel's not the right word. Just screamed at by people a million times. And they'd be pulling up my videos now and going, look at what he said. And you're like, yeah, well, it's 30 years later. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not
I'm not
saying
the
that
same
stuff.
person.
Well, also that's one of those things where I'm wrapped that my career began in the 90s, which was, the 90s were a little bit more about shock horror,
Yeah, they
like
were.
kind
Yeah.
of hitting a bit harder, being a bit
Hmm.
more taboo.
Hmm.
And what was kind of great was that you grew out of it uh,
Yeah.
through process.
Right.
Like you did it while you were younger, and then
Yep.
you got better.
Yeah, you got better and you realize relying on that does not make a very good comic. And there's only a select, like a handful of people like Jeselnik that can do it really well.
Yeah,
And there's like a tongue in cheek to them that you're at no point you're like, oh, this is a terrible person. You're like, yeah, he's doing a joke thing he's really going hard at it, but he's creating really amazingly well written jokes.
yeah.
Some people can
Also,
do
the
that,
jokes
but
at his
it's
expense too, right? Like he's
yeah,
he's
often, yeah,
saying, "I'm a bad guy,"
yeah, yeah. And
act wise.
and yeah, right. And most people grow out of it, but some people don't. But it's cheap. It's easy. It's easy to. That's why the whole right wing rise of comedy is all of us comedians are sitting around going, "Yeah, it's fucking easy, dude. Like, who gives a shit?"
Yeah,
I did that when I was doing open mics. Like,
yeah,
hooray, you said the N word. It's just like, wow, what a boundary you pushed there, buddy.
yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, yeah. It's I think that's the same attitude I have, where it's like, I remember, the duo I started in. We made an effigy of the Pope out of papier mâché. Have I told you
Uh-huh.
about this? And we put it.
I know about the group. I didn't know about the Pope.
Yeah, we were just doing a headline spot at our regular haunt, and
Yeah,
we made it. I bought a whole lot of raw meat and sausages and that, and put it
sure.
in the stomach area, and we put it
Sure.
on a cross, and then put a towel over it, but it was Adelaide summer. So we did that around 11:30, 12 o'clock, and just left it there. Like the show started at 7:30. We get on stage at about 9. It's 9:30. We're doing our big closer, a song called Revolution Time Popey. And then my mate Damien's got his acoustic guitar plugged into a fuzz box and he's doing feedback. And I strip the towel off this Pope. And
Yeah,
I pull out a knife and I stab him in the stomach, but the meat had
sure.
gone off. Like the meat had turned all gassy. So when I've hit this
Oh,
plastic bag, all this pig fat's fucking shot over me, and it's hit the table in the front where 3 girls screamed, and a candle has set fire to the pig fat, so it's dripping off the off the table. And I'll be honest, I was in shock because I was not expecting this. And someone yelled at me. Our act was called the Bunter Boys, and someone yelled out, "You're going to burn in hell, Bunter Boys!" And I, I hit that guy in the head with a sausage. That was the end of the act, and there were no repercussions because it happened all in the moment, and
right.
no one
Now it
filmed
would
it.
be on
And
video. Someone who whipped out a camera as soon as you pulled out the knife back
yeah,
then, or now, I
yeah,
mean, and you'd be, yeah, look at these guys.
yeah. And then, by the time the show's finished, I'm walking out the front and I've got 16 dots on me from a whole lot of right wing Christians who want to kill me
Yeah, exactly.
to
Gonna
save their
murder you.
imaginary friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm rapt that I experienced that, and I'm rapt that
Yeah.
there's no footage of it.
I mean, we used to do a thing, the San Francisco Punchline at the end of the like showcase night where all the comics would go up. They do a thing called Walk the Room where you would go up and tell your most horrifying joke
Right.
and try
Yeah.
to get the crowd to walk out. Imagine
Yeah.
if that was now. Like you just
Like well, you'd have a whole new audience. You'd have the biggest audience you've ever had, and you'd be really upset. Oh no. Well, it'd be different now. You could try and walk the room by just being really nice to different minorities. Um,
yeah.
I've been enjoying the work of your president of late.
Hmm.
Isn't it? I'm absolutely shocked that he did not get the
Nobel
Nobel
Peace
Peace
Prize?
Prize. Yeah,
So is he.
because yeah, well, and he had a lovely imaginary phone call with the person who did
Hmm.
win from Venezuela.
Although she is also a Nazi. So
Yeah, so
she's pretty bad herself. Like the lady who
yeah,
won, you're like, oh, it's just a version of him in another country. Okay.
yeah, yeah. It was wild when it was like first reaction was ha, and then you read on her and you go, oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, God,
I know,
far
right?
out.
They didn't give it to him. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What? She said what about what? Yeah. Yeah,
But
she's cool.
the
She's a she's a lady who thinks it's okay to blow up people on boats because they're in boats.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a logic to it. If you're an asshole.
Look, anybody in a boat is dealing drugs. They're moving drugs.
Yeah,
We have what is known as the Miami Vice Doctrine here, and
right,
that's it. Anybody in a fast boat, you're a drug person.
right.
Yeah,
What happens if you're wearing like a pastel suit and boat shoes without socks? You could just be a Don Johnson enthusiast.
yeah. Well, that's what's yeah. You could be, but we know who they are.
Yeah, yeah, drug runners.
Yeah, yeah.
and
To
Don
blow them
and
up,
Don Johnson
and
enthusiasts.
We will also kill Don Johnson if he's out in a boat.
Oh man, don't do that to the
Everybody
Don.
dies.
Yeah, it's interesting that did 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 Trump really change anything in the Middle East, or did Israel just kind of
No,
run out of targets?
no, it genuinely sounds like he did. This is what we on the left were saying Biden should have done the whole time because there's some Israelis that came out and were like, yeah, no, you could have stopped. You could have told us this in January 2024. Like we were ready to be told to stop. So yeah, he actually did. It sounds like
Right,
do it. So
right,
what are you gonna do? Got to give him credit, but it's also like he wouldn't be there had Biden done that.
right. Yes. Why didn't Biden do it? Why didn't the Democrats do it?
because they're totally controlled by AIPAC, which is the right-wing Jewish lobby.
Right.
I mean, that's it. They're controlled by right-wingers. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say to this. Sometimes it's just easier to laugh, and kind of wish you never brought up the topic.
We have a new guy running in Maine. I can't remember his name, Parnell or something like that. But he was like a ex-military guy, and he's an oyster fisherman, and he's running, and he's a lefty guy, and he's just like healthcare, and what are we doing with these ice guys? Like he's just very common sense is what I would call it,
Right.
and he's getting all this attention, and so of course Democrats pushed the 70 8-year-old governor of Maine to run against him. So they're doing their
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah. Great. Just great. Meanwhile, the New York mayor seems to have some pretty good support, and they seem to be furious about it.
They're furious. They're livid. They're losing their fucking minds. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't endorse him. They can't like say like Harris was just, I support the Democratic candidate, but wouldn't say his name. Like it's watching you just like you people are out of your fucking trees. Like this,
Yeah.
everyone likes this guy, even if you don't. He's one of those guys that even if you don't like his policies, you're like, I like him.
Mm.
He's a nice guy. Like he seems
Yeah.
nice and cool. Everyone just seems to like him, except for right wingers. And to watch the Democrats not be able to do, you're just like, man, you guys are slitting your own throats. He's
Yeah.
wildly popular. He's like winning like right wing men under 30. So the whole thing they screamed about in the election, we lost all the white men under 30. Well, now you have a guy that's leading in the polls with them, and they're like, well, not like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I don't know what to tell you guys because you're really not good at politics.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how bad everybody appears to be.
Yeah.
Do you think, you know, all the subsequently since we last spoke, all the Jimmy Kimmel stuff that went
Mm.
down and came back is that a fraying around the edges, or is that just a blip in the Trump presidency? Because it did seem like it did have a proper pushback at
Yeah,
grassroots
well,
level.
it's interesting. So if the elites lose somebody in their community, they fight, don't they?
Right. Yeah.
You don't hear them saying that about the news producer who was just tackled in Chicago and arrested for doing news.
Right.
Shouldn't that be from all those people?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be more important than a talk show host?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think so. There's a lot of brown people being snatched off the street for being brown. It's
Yeah.
just, they're not talking about that. They're very, very quiet, but they sure
Yeah.
did get upset about Kimmel. Kimmel was, they all came out and said, hey, this is the biggest threat to democracy. And I'm like, actually, I think a local news report, not producer, local news producer in Chicago who was tracked and then thrown to the ground and arrested for being a news producer. I think that's more important than a
Yeah.
talk show host. But what do I
Yeah.
know?
Well, like if that person wants to have more of an impact, she needs her Guillermo
That's exactly right.
giving out giving out shots of tequila while doing while producing reports.
Here's
The
something interesting.
hmm,
Here's something interesting. I think you like. So, I mean, you guys are seeing all the footage, right? Of like the ICE
yeah.
guys just going crazy. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I saw the stuff in Portland where that woman was just
yeah,
and just talking, and then
yeah,
like I read, oh, she got pepper spray, but when I watched it, that was a fucking faucet turned on right
yeah.
in her face. Yeah,
They had it's bear spray, and it comes in this big like jug thing, and it's like a
right.
because it's to hit a bear from a distance.
Yeah,
But that's a lady, so it's
yeah,
different.
and 1 foot in front of you.
So, the Fourth Amendment. I can look it up, but it's basically the gist of it is you can't have unreasonable search and seizure and detaining of people. Um, but police, if you've ever heard of this thing, it's called qualified immunity. And the Supreme Court decided, and this is one of the big steps toward fascism years ago, that cops can do whatever they want and not be personally sued. So only
Right.
the city can be sued or the town.
Right.
So it's led to just so a lot of cops don't live in, say, Los Angeles. There's cops that live in Arizona and fly here to work, and they live in the white suburbs. Like about a half hour away from me, there's a place called Cop Town, which is Simi Valley, and Thousand Oaks is kind of Cop Town too, but it's where all the cops live. So they don't live in
Huh.
LA, and it's outside the county. It's in Ventura County. So why would they care about violating someone's rights if it's going to cost the city money that they hate? So so
Right.
all these cops are
Huh.
doing, when you see cops doing wildly illegal things, it's because they won't be punished, and then the city will have to pay in a lawsuit, and they don't care. Now here comes ICE.
Right.
The one thing about qualified immunity is if the Fourth Amendment is egregiously violated, qualified immunity no longer applies.
Right.
So
Okay.
when you see people trying to get videos of their faces and they have the mask up, and when you if you pull down the mask, they will stop everything they are doing to pull the mask back up. Because when this ends, if it ends, if there's an end to it, the lawyers are going to come out of the woodwork looking at every single video and every single face and every single other who the door kicked in, their window smashed in their car, and they're going to personally sue every single ICE agent and drive them into a life of poverty they could never understand. And they will be homeless and they will be out picking berries in the fields to survive for cash.
Right.
But what that also means is they can never relinquish control.
Yes, which was, that which is also being played out on the macro with Trump, isn't it? Because if once
Mm-hmm.
he's not president, then all these charges can kind of come back,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, he can never leave office
Yeah.
because he's the illegality is off the charts of everything they're doing. So they can't leave. And I think that's one thing that Democrats and liberals haven't come to accept yet is like they're not going to go. You have to make them go because they're talking about elections and blah blah. And you're like, you're past elections now. Now you have another choice. So it's either live with it or stop it.
Right. So how do you stop it? If elections aren't going to be something that are potentially on the horizon, what's the step?
Well, they're using lawsuits, which I think is insane. The step is to violently confront them.
Right.
You get more people out on the streets and you violently confront ICE and you scare them because they're really like the biggest little bitchy crybaby guys that like they're the guys online that are the right wingers online. I mean, that's who all these people are. They're the
Yeah.
right wingers online that you've seen yelling at people all the time. Like our Proud
Yeah.
Boys have all disappeared. All
Yeah.
of our militias have disappeared. Our Oath Keepers have disappeared. All these right wing militias around the country are gone because they're all now in ICE uniforms attacking people.
Yeah.
But historically, when you confront a fascist, they go away
Yeah.
because they are at heart chicken shits.
Yeah. Yeah. They find their bravery in numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always small numbers. Like there's not a lot of ice guys out there, but they move quickly and attack and move on. Like it's like a squad of guys moving in cars, three or four cars, and they all jump out and they attack and they grab a couple of people and they drive away. Which the point of that is terrorism and fear, right?
Yeah.
But I keep watching it and I'm going, I live in Los Angeles. What's the number one way to stop ICE then, if that's what they're doing?
Yeah.
Take out their tires.
Yeah.
Now what are
Yeah.
they going to do? It's
Yeah.
really not hard to. That's always been the easiest way to take out. Like if there was ever an insurrection in Los Angeles, that we don't actually have that many police. Take out the tires. That's it.
Yeah.
Literally, they're all immobilized immediately. It's so easy to. And then what are they going to do if there's a crowd? They're going to fucking run. Like
Yeah.
the they're not prepared. They're trying to instigate, but they are not prepared for how easy they are to fuck with
Yeah.
because they're running around with impunity, smashing windows, attacking people, and they don't have the ability or understanding of how vulnerable they are in a society where essentially everyone is sitting around going, we're not going to attack them.
Yeah.
But if they were to, like, say, shoot up a bunch of innocent people and it's game on, if it ever becomes game on, they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
They will have unleashed something they cannot comprehend. Because I'm telling you, everyone is like, this is what happens in war. Everyone's like, oh, I could do it. I could
Yeah.
100% do it. Everybody I know is like, yeah, I could do it right now. Because they're
Yeah.
violent monsters within our society.
Yeah.
And we're all just sitting around.
Well, you have the, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, maybe Mark, the US Senator, who said that, it was in talking to a big group of people talking about how the gangbangers better start running because we're tough and we're strong.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that senator's name?
That wasn't even a senator. That
Oh,
was what's his name? That's the president's chief of staff.
oh, yes,
Uh,
yes.
he's God damn it, I can't remember his fucking name. I'm really bad with names.
Oh, it's it
He's
gets harder as we
he
get older.
was Yeah, right. I've always been bad, so it's even worse now. Oh no, it's not his chief of staff. What's his fucking name?
He
He's the little bald guy. That's who you're talking about, right?
yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how many people in positions of power are modeling themselves after Lex Luthor. It is quite fascinating. But he he was him saying, hey, we're tough. Come and take us on. I was like, oh, please,
Yeah,
please, let's see.
that guy's like, I mean, the funny thing is that guy's like 5'4". Like it's just the
Yeah,
classic like you watch it and you're just like, dude, literally it's one punch to the face and that guy is gone. Like he never comes back. That's the thing about fascists. Like they're these little weird, angry people. And if you
yeah.
really just clock them once, like we did that with Richard, another name I can't remember. But remember the video of the American fascist who's doing a little speech and this
Oh,
Antifa guy comes by and just clocks him with this.
yeah,
That guy was gone. That guy
yeah,
literally the entire movement kind of went like, and like pushed him away because now he represented weakness.
yeah,
And he just faded into obscurity.
yeah,
And so that's really how you handle them.
yeah, yeah. We should have on everyone in America should be wearing little wrist bracelets that WWBA do. What would Buzz Aldrin do? That great footage of the guy saying, "You never went to the moon," and he just went, "Oh, I'm just going to punch you in the head." Yeah, sometimes violence is the answer. Who knew?
Yeah.
It's fine. But can you imagine
Oh, it's
like
Stephen Miller. Sorry, it's Stephen
Stephen
Miller.
Miller?
That's who the guy
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Could you imagine being at home watching anything and a transgender character or a lesbian African American woman appears or whatever, and your first reaction is, "Oh, that's freaking me out. I've got to do something about it." Like,
Yeah. Because you're
yeah,
attracted to it.
that's it. Well, isn't the
They're
highest
attracted.
rates of transgender
Yeah.
porn is downloaded by right wing Republicans?
All all red states. It's all red states.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're attracted to it. Like you're into it. It tittillates you, and now you're mad because
yeah,
you're not supposed to do that. So you want to
yeah,
hit something. It's really
yeah,
just it's basically like really what it is. Also, doing the dollop, it's so many times in history where the right wing just can't handle something outside of straight white people and they lose their fucking minds. And there
yeah,
was one episode we did, Phyllis Schlafly, who was like a big right wing leader in the 70s, and she essentially stopped the ERA from getting passed, the Equal Rights Amendment. And at one point, she said, I found this quote of hers, and she said, "We know it exists. We just don't want to ever have to see it." And she's talking about gay people. And you're like,
Right.
oh, I don't fucking care if you don't want to see it. If you don't want to see it, then go in your house and put a fucking black towel over your head and sit in a corner because
Yeah.
you're a fucking moron. Like you
Yeah.
can't see shit. Then stay in a box, you fucking
Yeah.
weirdo. Why would I adjust my society to whatever the
Yeah.
fuck you are?
Yeah. Yeah. It's if something freaks you out, don't watch it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't watch
And
Clint
also,
Eastwood films.
I've seen women that are super hot. I'm like, geez, look at that. And then it's a trans woman. I'm like, whoop, got me.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
a hot
Well,
woman still.
it's still hot. There you go. Uh, it's I only find it offensive as a vegetarian, but but it's one of those things where uh, it, it can be quite like the moment that really showed me that I was out of step. Well, and this happened ages ago, but when of all things, Mad Max Fury Road came out in 2015, I was obsessed with all these sites that popped up that were all these men talking about, oh, this movie castrates Max, and oh,
Oh no,
it's a
really?
woman who's crippled, yeah, who's the lead, and he's not even the lead in his own movie, and I thought it was so funny, and I was like, I found it funny because I was like, imagine seeing this film and then you get so upset you start a website so you can hang out with other dweebs. Ah, no, but Max is meant to be the main character, and Charlize Theron seemed like she was the co-lead, and she's even missing an arm, and that's quite attractive, and all this kind of shit. And then 12 months later, Trump got in, and you
Yeah,
started seeing footage of these guys hanging out in public,
yeah.
candle
Not
vigils,
ashamed.
not ashamed.
Yeah,
Why aren't
not
you
ashamed.
ashamed?
That's
Be
the thing about all
ashamed.
this. It's like, no, you should be ashamed of what you're doing.
Why are you not embarrassed?
Yeah, because they found out there were a bunch of them.
Yeah,
All the guys who were like sort of outcasts when we were for being not great, not outcasts for just being like a societal like weirdo, but like being not a good person, all
yeah,
found each other.
yeah,
And they're like, oh, we're not alone.
yeah,
And then they all grouped up. And now they can find each other and create the Proud Boys and do their own little groups. Whereas before they were just you're a guy in Arcadia and there's two of you, and now
yeah,
you find the guys in all the towns around Arcadia and y'all do a meetup.
yeah, yeah. It's even, once upon a time, like finding your crew was, that was kind of cool. Do you know what I mean? But back when you first started saying that, it was finding someone else who played D&D, or it was someone else. It was
Yeah,
someone else who liked Twin Peaks.
yeah, totally. And when I was growing up in the suburbs, it was punk rockers.
Mm,
When the kids I knew who were punk would finally get old enough to go into the city and see a show, they'd be like, "Oh fuck, it's not just me and Jen.
yeah, yeah,
There's a bunch of us."
yeah,
And that's how I felt doing stand up. The first time I got like the first couple of shows I did, all of a sudden I was in this community and everyone was like, "Yeah, you're a weirdo like us." Like we were all a little bit weird, and we weren't
yeah,
like super popular, but weren't unpopular. We were just these kind of weird little, we made people laugh, but also like, well, you're a little bit angry. Like it was all the weird, you're a mixed up
yeah,
weird. And that was really like finding like a tribe. You're like, oh, these are my people. But now you would find them so much earlier online.
yeah,
You would.
yeah, yeah. You find them immediately,
Yeah.
uh, and and it also, because everything became, it wasn't back then. It was like you were so excited just to find someone else you could talk to about stuff,
Yeah.
and it was an exchange of information. Did you know this? Oh, I didn't know that. Did you
Yeah.
know this? Oh, I didn't know that, and that was exciting. And now it's kind of developed into this. All right, get in. We'll protect ourselves against everybody else, and we're going to be really aggressive against things. Like kind of getting back to the PTA side of things. I like his movies, but I don't want to hang out with PTA fans. And it's,
Right.
I want to enjoy it over here on my own
Yeah.
terms,
Yeah.
and not get caught up in a siege mentality. I feel that
Yeah,
way about pretty
totally.
much every artist now. It's almost like when someone I like has a movie coming out or an album coming out, I'm 80% excited and 20%, oh God, I've got to deal with everyone attacking it and everyone inside of it attacking outwards.
Watching.
Yeah,
So
it's too
I'm
much.
not. I guess I didn't grow up in here. I feel like the Taylor Swift stuff is a new evolution of
Oh
sort of
yeah,
celebrity worship.
yeah,
It's because there was Madonna and people liked Madonna, and I
yeah,
think she crossed a lot of lines. Like if you were like into metal, you could be like, all right, that's a good song. Like
yeah.
and I kind of feel like that's sort of the same thing with Taylor Swift. But I feel like there's been so much attacking over the years that they watching it play out. Because I was just reading, because I honestly don't know. I couldn't name a Taylor Swift song. uh you get
Shake
to
it.
my age and you're like, I don't care, and you just
Yeah,
stop paying attention.
yeah,
I've seen many pop stars, so Taylor Swift is not new to me, nor is she that interesting. She's just another pop star in a long list of top pop stars.
yeah,
And great, she does music that you like, cool, I don't care, have fun with it.
yeah.
But in this attack society, right, that you're talking about, 20% or whatever, it's probably less, that really go like really mad about Taylor Swift.
Right.
And then you've got a 10% who are like, she's everything my fiber of being responds to. And
Yeah.
watching them react to negative reviews of an album, which is artistic, is wild because they can't handle it. They can't handle that you're not supposed to say anything bad about her. And I'm just watching it. I'm like, God, this is like, is anyone doing psychological studies about this? Like, it's really weird what's happening.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's very weird.
Yeah, and there's the siege mentality of
Hmm.
there can't be any criticism.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, what the thing that I found fascinating about this album drop was, and once again, if you're a super fan, you just see this as her being giving. But if you're looking at it from the outside, it's like, do there need to be nine versions of this album? And does
Right.
there need to be an
Gross.
acoustic version? And does there need to
Yeah.
be a sing along at the
Yeah.
cinema? And
Yeah.
from what I can tell, like I've been reading, like I can't bring myself to listen to it, but I'm reading reviews about it because I'm a little bit fascinated from a distance.
Hmm.
And
Yeah. Me too.
do your fans need nine copies of you singing about how good Travis Kelce's dick is? Like, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Eh, they are
it,
so deeply seeped in capitalism, they don't know how it is now just being subjected on them on such a level that it's crazy.
yeah,
They don't do that. They don't do that to our generations now. They know if they put out something we like, they're like, yeah, they're going to watch it once. But they
yeah,
know that they like the younger generations have now lived through generation after generation of just unfettered, crazy capitalism. They're like, yeah, we can give them 10 things of the same thing and they'll buy it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's saw that in the 90s with the comic book boom where,
Yeah.
I think Chris Claremont and Jim Lee's X-Men sold like over just one issue, sold over 1 million copies. And then
Yeah.
suddenly there's the silver gloss cover and there's
Yes.
the 3D cover and there's a cover where Wolverine's head's just a little bit smaller. And here's one with Cyclops and his the jewel in his visor is off red rather than red. And
Let me
you
ask you a
know,
question. Did you go see Godzilla in black and white or whatever it is, and also in color? Did you do that?
Oh, the last Godzilla film that came out
Yeah, and then they put it out in a
in a monochrome. No, I didn't see the black and
yeah.
white version,
Okay.
but I did see
I
the
didn't
color
either.
version. I loved it.
When that happened, I was just like, yeah, we're gonna start doing this in movies now. We're gonna make a black
Yeah,
and white one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to degrade the film a little bit and make it feel like it was the made in the 50s. Yeah, it's there's something to be said for an artist. Just here's my latest piece, whatever that is. album, movie, book, whatever, and that's it. Let's
Yeah,
move on. Is
let's move
I
on. I
was
really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was trying to think, is there any has there ever been a billionaire who we can say is legitimately a good person? And I wonder if the only person who can tick that box who's no longer with us, is Sam Simon, who was one of the creators of The Simpsons, wasn't it?
Oh,
Who left his whole fortune
yeah.
to
I mean,
animal rights stuff.
I know people who knew Sam, and
Yeah,
he was a really good guy. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple here or there. Like, yeah, I mean, you can, some people just kind of fall into it, like he did.
right.
He
Yeah,
kind of got really super lucky. Most billionaires get that way because they're, destroying other businesses and people as they get there. But he was just like, I made art things, like.
yeah, yeah. And it really worked out.
Yeah, yeah. People I know that worked with him, and they loved him. So yeah, you might be right. That might be the one.
And do we talk about him? Absolutely not, because that's not what you're meant to do with your money. Give it away.
I mean, I don't think Taylor Swift is a bad person. I don't like I think I mean I a lot of people don't agree with me on COVID, but I think doing huge tours while there's a big COVID surge is kind of gross.
Hmm.
Um like we plan our tours around now when COVID is at its lowest level.
Yeah.
Um, Traditionally, at least as we can plan it as much as we can. Her concerts, was it last year, were the biggest spreading events. Uh, and I always felt that was kind of gross because she has all of her crew wear masks.
Right. Right.
And if you're having all your crew wear it and you don't say it, like you guys should put on masks with the sway you have at a concert, like that's kind
Yeah.
of weird. So
Yeah.
why does your crew wear it?
Yeah.
Oh, because you might get sick, and all the people that are working at the grocery store get sick and go back to their. Oh, they can take a couple weeks off. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, Taylor. So that
She's she's very good at
gross.
being apolitical, and also, from what I can tell, uh, you know, still somehow lower status.
Yeah,
In her lyrics and that, it's like, no, no, you're the establishment now.
yeah. I think it's hard for people. I can never come to grips with. I never have ever like sort of understood of the status I achieved. Like I was on TV and I was like, a popular podcast and all that stuff, and it never sunk in that I was even slightly had a following or a popularity. I still
Yeah.
act and behave as if I was not. And
Right.
I think I always will because I think I was a failure for, working up, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
for so long that it's just ingrained in me. I never think that like, oh, I'm saying this and other people could be hearing it. I just never. I think I'm talking to this one person. And then all
Yeah.
these other people are like, did you hear what he said? And I'm just like, I thought I was talking to that guy.
Yeah.
So but also I read this, I saw this really interesting thing on TikTok of this woman talking about how Taylor Swift sort of represents the arrested development of white feminism. Young, this specific type of young white feminist that is um, not allowed to become a full-fledged adult.
Right.
So by singing about his dick or whatever, everyone just kind of breaks a little bit. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people can't handle that's never what she's banning. How she can't grow up in a way. She can't get
Right.
married and have kids in a way. Like it's not like it's outside the sort of unconscious boundary of what she's supposed to be,
Right.
which
Yes.
is
That's
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
If she does get married and everything, she's going to have to try and find a way to uh still hold on to that core fan that has a specific idea of who she should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, Britney Spears was always the little girl, and as
Mm,
much as she tried to become this, young sex pod, it was still always kind of, nah, you're still the girl. And then, that really spun out of control.
yeah.
Madonna was always Madonna, so she never really had to change. She was always like what she is.
Right.
It's interesting. Like, everyone's got puts their stuff on people. So, you know,
Yeah. And that's what they like you for. So therefore,
yeah,
don't change.
don't change. And the other thing is like she's made, artists aren't, I was thinking about someone the other day because have you heard the band Geese?
No.
So I think it's like Gen Z's the Strokes.
Right.
Um, um, it's like their it band. They're like, oh, this like it's really hitting in New York, they're like you watch it and you're like, oh, it's the same reaction that the last generation had to the Strokes. And I was listening to their album, and I think it's really good. I think it's their third album, and then I was like, but they're one album. You can tell they're one album away from really just creating a like Radiohead level
Right.
album, right? Okay, computer, like holy shit, what happened here?
Yeah.
And they're very close. And I was like, but then you make three of those or two of those, and you're kind of done. Most bands don't keep making album. Now Bowie is a rare example of a guy who for generations made for other people and just but most people
Yeah.
the Stones had longer than most people, but then they were done.
Yeah.
So you have a zone where
Yeah.
you're relevant and you're creatively artistically exploding and then you're kind of done and you tapped out and might have been what happened to Taylor Swift with this album, that
Yeah.
because it sounds like it's really getting universally panned. And
Right.
she also might have grown up and become an adult, and now she's more of a different artist, and it's not jiving with people.
Yeah. It's also hard to create when you're on the road.
Oh, absolutely. And also, it's hard to create what, honestly, when you're in a relationship with someone that you're going to marry and you're
Yeah.
happy as shit and you're hanging out with them all the time, you're not putting the same amount of time into your art
But
as you're just not. Because
you,
if
you
you get
know,
distracted by things, when you have a kid,
yeah.
that's where most of your energy goes for a little while, and your
Yeah.
art does suffer. Like art comes out of a person alone a lot of the time, just fucking banging around, coming up with shit in their head. And the more
Yeah.
distractions there are, and the more life comes along where things are good and happy, and you're like, I'd rather hang out with my girl. Like,
Yeah.
it's it does it
Yeah.
hinders the artistic process.
Just on a when I was back in Adelaide, Mum and I were flicking around HBO Max and we saw the Billy Joel doco. We were like,
Oh,
ah, should we give that a bit of a watch? And it's like, yeah, and if we get bored, we'll just check out. Turns out it's kind of fascinating
that's what I've heard.
documentary, and he is even though he has control of it, I'm not sure he understands what he's a little bit like what made The Last Dance great was, yeah, Jordan had control, but he's so insane. He didn't
Yeah,
quite realize what he was revealing about himself.
right.
And Billy Joel is kind of uh he's quite clearly in control of this doco, but he's kind of also really vulnerable and showing lots of himself. Like it's essentially
Hmm.
his whole life is his dad leaves his family early, and then he, in his head, builds up that one day I'm going to meet up with him again and he's going to see what I've made of myself. And we're going to reconnect. And when he finds his father living in Vienna, he's got a whole new family and he's got a half brother. And his father just, like, even though he gets his father on stage to play piano with him at little gigs and things like that, he never gets what he wants from his father.
Right.
And it's one of those things where you sit there and you go, in a weird way, I wish his father had died before he met him, because then it would always be the ideal, rather than
Yes.
the realism of this guy just wasn't really that into me. But there's an interesting thing where he marries Christy Brinkley, and I've never seen interviews with Christy Brinkley. She's a fucking
Hmm.
delight. She is
Oh yeah,
really
she's
nice,
great.
and you
Yeah.
see that she's funny. She
Yeah.
around that period, he's getting angry at paparazzi. She's like
Mhm.
saying, no, just let's just give him something and then they'll move on. So then for a time, he vamps that he doesn't want his photo taken, and she's giving the big smile, and they'd take the photo and they'd move on. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is he doesn't create anything for 3 years. he's,
Oh,
he's there's nothing going on. And Billy
yeah.
Joel
quite clearly can only make art when he's fucking angry and sad.
Yeah.
So he kind of,
It's
has
yeah,
to ruin
totally.
his marriage to be able to keep making hits.
It's a bit of a stereotype because I think it's based in truth. I also think there are people that I know people that have struggled with sobriety and come out of it, and when they're kind of at their healthiest is when they take off as an artist.
Right.
Um, but there's also people that it comes from angst and like,
Yeah.
fear and worry and all that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really
Yes.
think like when you're in love, your first, couple of years, I really think that's like you're just not interested in doing anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really happy hanging out with this person.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to come and do a gig for $100? No, I
Yeah.
do not.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I can stay home and have dinner with someone that I actually like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dave, I should let you go because I know you've got a tour coming up. When does the tour kick off?
It starts on I want to say the 20th in
Right.
wait, 19th. It starts on the 19th in Chicago. And then it's a bunch of Midwest cities through the 30th. We end it in Denver. But yeah, go to dollopodcast.com. There's a bunch of, if anybody in America is listening,
There's some people. There's some people
there
listening
are
to me. Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy,
And want a
crazy
little taste
people.
of little Aussie Hammo now and again.
People like a little
Um,
bit of Hammo. People do need a little taste of Hammo. Yeah.
yeah, not too much. It gets a bit rich after a while, but just a little taste. It's okay.
Well, that's why
Uh,
that's why the Taste of Hammo podcast only went 7 episodes and then you shut it down.
yeah, it was enough. It was heaps. Um, just quickly, have you gone on your school reunion, or is that this week?
That's this week. That's this weekend. That is Saturday. So yeah, so that's
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
jeez. But the people wrote in. They were. It was funny. Grant Long wrote in, and he said, it's so funny. He says, I moved around a bit as a kid. I ended up having three different high schools in three different towns around New South Wales. The start of year 11 ended up being at a new school in a new town. In the last school, it had taken me what felt like months to make any friends. On the first day of year 11, I was contemplating escaping to the library when a bunch of guys yelled out to me. Shit, I thought, here's trouble. Turns out they were inviting me over, and for the next 2 years, I had a crew. After school, I moved to the other end of the state. I kept in touch with a couple of the guys, mainly as we played guitar and wrote songs, but fell apart from the rest. At a 25-year reunion, I was a little hesitant walking into the room, but within a few seconds, someone yelled, Is that you, Longy? Turns out they hadn't changed a bit. They were the best bunch of people you could meet, salt of the earth, as Mum would say. And then at the end, he said, Sorry, Hammo, not funny, just heartwarming.
Yeah,
I
it'd be
love it.
interesting to see who I'm still like. There's gonna be people and be like, "Get go away," but there's definitely
Yeah,
people that, yeah, I'll probably get along with.
yeah.
Someone just told me they went to their high school reunion and they met people that they never knew in high school, and now they're friends.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's
Oh,
like, yeah,
geez.
that's weird.
Wow. Making up for lost time.
Or some guy sent me an because there's a big email chain and you can look at everyone's names. And someone sent me an email like, "Hey, we're looking forward to," and I was just like, I have no idea who you are.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear about the blind panic you have trying to remember who people are
Oh
recounting
my
stories
God.
to you that you're like,
Well,
Am I in
I
this
mean,
story?
do you know me? Because I will literally just go, I have no idea who you are.
Yeah, no, of course. Sorry. I was relating how I do. Oh yeah, of course. No, I remember that. Yeah, and then we did that thing with the what's it. Yeah, far out. How could I forget, Gary? Jeff. Um,
Yeah.
oh dear. All right, I look forward to hearing the reports about that. Say hello to Gareth for us, and we'll catch up with you again
Yeah,
soon.
well,